In 1686, negotiations began with Russia's western neighbor, the Polish-Lithuanian Commonwealth. Golitsyn led a series of long and grueling discussions, which eventually led to the signing of a Treaty of Eternal Peace in Moscow. This bound the kingdoms of Princess Regent Sofia and King Jan Sobieski in alliance, and was to prove the crowning achievement of Russian foreign policy in the 17th century. Russia's gains included the regions around Smolensk and Chernigov, as well as parts of eastern Ukraine and the cities of Zaporozhye and Kiev. The Treaty of Eternal Peace contained one additional clause. Russia was to join the Holy League, a military alliance against the Turkish Ottoman Empire. This obliged Russia to go to war against the Crimean Khanate, an Ottoman ally. But Golitsyn was not in favor of war and wanted to delay as long as possible. Despite his misgivings, Sofia placed Golitsyn in charge of the army for the forthcoming campaign. She dreamed of great victories that would unite Russia behind her and cover her beloved Golitsyn in glory. No sooner had he left for the front than Sofia began to write to him. In her letters, she called Golitsyn by his pet name, Vashenka, and worried endlessly about his safety. It was only when she embraced him with her own arms, she wrote, that she would know peace again. In May 1687, a 100,000-strong Russian army joined forces with Don and Zaporozhye Cossacks and advanced towards the Isthmus of Perekop. They found the fields had all been burnt, leaving no food for the horses. Some said it was the Cossacks, not the enemy, who burnt the land, in fear of Russia's growing power. The campaign was cut short. The next year, an even bigger Russian army advanced south. The war's only battle was fought on May 15th, after which the Tatars retreated and the Russians advanced to Perekop. When the news reached Sofia in Moscow, she was ecstatic. Her letters back to Golitsyn overflowed with love and adulation, and longing for the day they would be reunited. Golitsyn, however, could advance no further. In fact, he was already on his way back to Moscow. The scorched earth tactics of his enemy had starved his army of food and water, leading to the loss of half his men, even though there had been no major battles. The campaign was, in fact, a complete disaster. Golitsyn's role in this catastrophic defeat would not be forgotten. Later, when he was sent into exile, one of the main charges against him would be his ruinous handling of the Crimean campaign. On the eve of the debacle, he suffered the worst blow of all, the betrayal of his beloved. While Golitsyn was away fighting, Sofia had fallen for another man, the cynical and scheming Fyodor Shaklovity. To flatter Sofia, he had brought the famous Ukrainian artist Alexander Tarasevich to Moscow to paint her portrait. He depicted the princess wearing a regal crown, scepter in hand, and behind her a double-headed eagle. Sofia adored it. She ordered the portrait to be engraved in copper, so copies could be printed and sent to all the courts of Europe. By now, Sofia was styling herself by the grace of God, the great sovereign lady, the pious Tsarevna, the great Princess Sofia Alexeyevna, autocrat of the Great, the Little, and the White Russias. At state ceremonies and ambassadorial receptions, she no longer felt the need to stand at a respectful distance behind the Tsar's throne. It was said her inspiration was the English Queen, Elizabeth I.